So, good evening, guys. My name is 𝗲𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗃, and I'm a software engineer and also a medical student from the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan. And today I'll be demoing the St. Mary's Medical Hospital Triage Assistant, which I created over the weekend. So, this is the next generation of AI triage and voice operations. Now, what is the triage? What is the triage assistant? The triage assistant is basically an assistant that helps you sort your patient in the order of severity of cases. If you present yourself at an emergency room, the doctors do basic triage. Okay, is this patient still able to breathe? Okay, if he's still breathing and shouting, perhaps it's still less severe. That patient that is going down and becoming less active, that's the one we need to take really seriously. Now, in the case of a triage, of a phone-based triage, we need to arrive at this way before the patient even gets to the hospital, right? And here is why. Usually, resources are limited. The patient is coming down from somewhere very far. You need to know whether do you have enough resources at hand. How do you even want to plan for these patients coming around? A triage assistant, if patients can phone, hello, I am having these particular signs and symptoms. The triage assistant is already connected with the hospital's resources to know which things are available at the moment, can inform the doctor on ground. Okay, you need to get these things ready. Get an ultrasound machine and ready. Get the X-ray machine ready. Get the suctioning tubes ready. This particular patient is coming down to the hospital in some minutes. So it creates this anticipatory landscape for any healthcare condition that is coming around to the hospital, and which is what I created over the weekend with the use of Vapi for both inbound and outbound voice calls. Now, what is the triage bottleneck? Before implementing this ADI system, the St. Mary's Medical Hospital faced significant operational challenges, extended wait times, like patients often wait too long on hold just to be initially assessed by a busy front desk. Doctors lack preliminary patient diagnostic data and context even before their arrival, and also manual follow-ups and routine outbound calls consume valuable administrative hours. And also, there is no centralized real-time logging for the critical patient interactions, which and that's why we created this. Now, the agentic operating system for healthcare, this particular agent which I created, the triage assistant, it has a primary care triage agent. So this is an intelligent inbound assistant that handles patient calls, conducts preliminary assessment, and gathers the crucial symptoms data before the human intervention. Also, outbound care. This is a voice agent that is designed to reach out to patients directly based on the predefined treatment plan and checkups, as we will see shortly. And also the centralized dashboard. This is like the EMR of the hospital, which is the master control center for like monitoring the incoming voice calls, automated doctor assessment, and also provides you with complete operational transparency through the audit trail feature of this application. Now, the inbound triage assistant, how does it work? So the patient calls the dedicated Vapi hospital number for immediate assistance. Vapi is voice agent API. So it is the platform where we design this voice agent for you. So the patient calls the dedicated Vapi number that has been assigned to the primary care triage assistant. Then the a voice agent conducts a conversational preliminary medical triage. The call concludes and an instantaneous webhook, that is, the webhook is fired back to the hospital backend. That is, from the Vapi platform, the agent that just finished the call can send the result of the call and all that was done down to the hospital, which we can then use in our own backend to make all the necessary automations possible. Now, on the backend, it populates the dashboard with the current case, also showing the level of severity of the condition, as we will see shortly, whether this thing is something that is really serious or something that we can still just ask the patient to come back later for some follow-up, in this case, and also assigns it to doctors that are on ground. Now, AI-driven outbound engagements. Now, what does this do? Vapi outbound call assistant shifts the hospital from being a reactive hospital to being a proactive hospital. So reactivity is that this patient comes, I then act at what he brings at me. But proactive is that right before the saga gets down, right before the condition gets to your doorstep, the doctor already knows what to do. So ensuring treatment plans are followed up on automatically. So trigger based focus. So doctors or the hospital AI can trigger outbound calls dynamically based on active treatment plans. So once you have a treatment plan and you want to inform your patient, or you want to follow up on specific treatment plan, you can you can start it up right from your hospital dashboard. Also, it's perfect for post visits follow-ups, critical appointment reminders, and checking medication adherence. Also, it has live telephony feature, which is powered by Vapi numbers. Currently, the live demonstrative calls directly to only US patient numbers. That's a feature because they are still on the free tier of Vapi for this particular demo. Now, right now, the it also has what we call a total this feature for total operational transparency. This is an healthcare application, so all that you do must be critically logged. So there's an audit trail that shows every action on the website, right from patients making a call to the data being saved to doctor being assigned, doctor that was assigned, and this is an immutable audit trail on the website. So and doctors can review AI's triage summary and even indicate manual calls directly from the dashboard interface. So the technical architecture, VAPI is the voice agent for ultra low latency conversational AI interactions. Data pipeline retailers create instant scroll data transfer between the voice AI and the hospital CNS. And the front end and back end, that's the custom application layer that processes the data payloads, handles authentication, and tracks audit logs, and also renders the dynamic dashboard in this case. So this is the future of operation or hospital operations. It reduces overhead, eliminates wait times, and empowers doctors with data before the patient even arrives, leading to zero um, old times, prepared doctors, and everything is fully auditable. Now we are going to a quick demo of these websites. This starts with authentication. Like every application needs to be secure, and the security here is managed by Clerk. Clerk is an authorization as a service provider, authentication as a service provider, which takes away the ache of you implementing your own authentication, allows you to focus on your core business logic, and which is exactly what I did here. So let's log in with Clerk. So for healthcare applications like this, you might want to use things like single sign-on magic links. Rather than implementing this yourself, you can always use Clerk. Clerk has all this done for you and plugs into your code easily. Um, so you don't need to worry about creating these things from scratch. Now, here's the dashboard. You can see here calls that have been made to these websites. I just made a call about 20 minutes ago, right? So, and you can see it's beaming red because the condition. Let's see what I called about, or this imaginary patient called about. So, patient reports stomach aches and inability to pass stools for 3 days. When asked about severe symptoms like abdominal pain, vomiting blood, and black tarry stools or dizziness, the patient confirmed experiencing them. Immediate emergency medical attention recommended. So this is something, all right. And another thing is that once you generate an AI that you can click on, once this case is presented, it can get you the ICD-10 code. That is that's the compendium of all diseases, the code for this particular condition. And what this code can help you with is a treatment plan. Once you know that, okay, this is what this patient is presenting with, what are the standard treatment plan for this kind of condition? I already know that this is what I do, this is what I do. I set a line, I set a line, I perform an x-ray, I do an ultrasound scan. In case of anything else, you can even run a CT, run some particular lab investigations, prep the theater for surgery, relieve the abdomen of, say, if the person has an intestinal obstruction, relieve the abdomen, and so on. And also generates a care plan for you. So here is the care plan, and I can click on this to make a call to this number, but this won't work at the moment because this is only for US based numbers. You can only make a call for US based numbers. You can also chat with the case, see the full transcripts in case you are wary of what the AI actually gave you as a recommendation. You can see how the discussion actually went and just make your own diagnosis from this. Also, you can also check out the call logs. In this case, all the triage calls in order of what they were made in this case. Also, the different patient cases that have called onto these websites. You can see the doctors in this case. For the last call that came in, right, you can see um it came in around some minutes to 10, right? it assigned that patient to the doctor who was on night shift. That is this particular patient, doctor here on night shift, and is also the ER lead. That's an emergency case. It assigned it to the ER lead in this case. So this system is functional and it does what it says it does. So you can also see the audit logs. The audit logs shows everything that has ever happened on this healthcare application, like literally everything. So nothing is lost. Say there is a case of a litigation on what happened, or of litigation which should not pre-happen, and something that is rampant in the medical field nowadays. You can see all the logs of what has happened on this particular platform, the St. Mary's Hospital as platform, in this case, and also your private settings you can also see. So say you want to add your own case manually, you can always come here, add the case manually. So now to test run this application, I'll be